So we have a new car on the channel, another little Nissan Micra. This is a K11 as well, but this one here is the 1.4 petrol, which is quite a rare engine these days, and I believe it's the biggest petrol engine that it came with. I think it might have come with a 1.4 diesel as well. I've never worked on one myself, but for all intents and purposes under the bonnet it still looks like a 1 litre. The engines look very similar, so I assume it's got bigger injectors, different cams, that kind of thing. But essentially everything else looks the same. It does have air conditioning, although that's not working yet, and it has some nice interior features as well. So my initial thoughts were it has a rev counter and it doesn't have a rev limiter. It will rev all the way out to 8 grand if you want it to. It's pretty quick actually, this car. I wouldn't say it's a fast car, but it definitely doesn't struggle to keep up with traffic at all. Having a 1.4 petrol in quite a small light car. But there are some things in here that I love, like this for example. This is gold. Just little things like that, so good. Obviously it has electric windows, that's not that uncommon for one of these. The AC does work, it does kick in, but it doesn't give you any cold air, so there's either a leak in the system or it's just never been recharged. So have to do a leak test to find that. It has an airbag here, which I've noticed most other K11s don't have. And it has like a slightly padded cloth trim. Most of them are just a straight piece of cloth. It comes out pretty easily as well. Center console wise, things are just looking pretty normal here. Still got some of the standard common things that happen, like this twists over sideways or just comes out completely. At some point somebody's put in a new stereo as well, which I completely approve of. And I'm not sure, in the back on the parcel shelf there are some speakers, and I'm not sure if that's aftermarket or if that came with the car. But there are other nice things, like some extra door pockets in the back. The rear seats in this have more cushioning. Even the front seats, to me, feel like they have more cushioning. I'm not entirely sure whether that's just because our other one, the seats are just so beat up now. But then just small things like this, like in our other one, our black one, this doesn't work, but in this car it does work. Also, it is the sunroof version, so if you so wished, it does work. The sunroof models were usually really bad for rust, but actually I had a look underneath and I can't see anything out of the ordinary that I find concerning. But the bodywork on this is really rough. Oh yeah, I'll show you that now. So we do have a sizable crack in the windscreen that will need to be replaced. The lacquer pretty much all over the car, coming off. The bumpers are especially bad. Has like these little chrome trims. Not really sure what to do with those because I intend to respray this car. Little crack there on the front bumper. It's just generally tired. See all the lacquer peeling away. On the wheels, we've got sort of like the Nissan cap on that one there, that's come off the front one. And that is essentially it. Not in great condition, not in bad condition. My first impression of the engine bay is that the car has been quite well looked after, and I don't think it's been stored outside, just because it hasn't rusted through completely. You don't get the usual stuff that accumulates at the bottom of the radiator, and just everything looks pretty tidy, but you do still have the usual problems that I find with these cars. Problem number one: coolant expansion tank. This becomes brittle because it's basically made out of milk bottle plastic, and once it goes through enough heat cycles they just disintegrate basically. Battery looks old but still working. I think it's on its way out though. it's a bit of a hard start, slow crank. It also leaks power steering fluid out of the cap. There's an O-ring in there which gets old, and because it doesn't have a cam belt, nobody ever replaces the drive belt on these, and that thing is ancient. And it has an oil leak here from the timing chain cover, which we'll address at some point. So a few things, but I think what this car could do with right now is probably just a good service, starting with that coolant expansion tank. Just, it's hot weather at the moment, we don't want to risk it overheating, so we'll sort that out first.